Mid live stream, the jury in the Karen Reed case dropped a bombshell question. They asked, if we find her not guilty on 2 counts, but can't agree on the third, does that mean it's a hung jury? And the judge flat out refused to answer, calling it a theoretical question. The defense jumped in because they don't want what happened during the first trial to happen again. During the first trial, which ended in a mistrial, jurors approached the defense and told them that they had voted not guilty on 2 of the charges, but couldn't come to a decision on the third. It looks like we are in the same boat now. It's absolutely infuriating that history might repeat itself. During the live stream, I went off explaining why that response shook me and what I believe it means for this retrial. I'm going to share that clip, and I'm also going to invite you to join us on the live streams because we have so much fun just watching the trials. Welcome to Revealing the Crime, where we explore true crime manipulation tactics and the psychology behind criminal behavior, especially cluster B traits. This channel is for discussion and education, not diagnosis. Viewer discretion is advised, as some topics may be disturbing. Let's uncover the truth one case at a time. Okay, I'm gonna go off mute and explain what my understanding is. The jury asked if they find that they've reached a decision on 2 of the charges, but they can't reach a decision on the third, is the entire thing a hung jury? So they're basically saying, if you make some assumptions here, that they are very clear on what they want to bring back as a verdict for 2 of the charges, but they're hung on a third. They're asking, can we bring this forward, or would this be considered a hung jury? And the judge is not answering this question, is giving them a confusing answer to it, which I am so angry right now because the question, the way they've phrased, the judge is saying that this is a hypothetical, theoretical question, but okay, because they started with the word if, okay, if this happens, blah, 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 they could easily say, is finding a verdict on 2 of the charges, but not on a third, a hung jury? Then that's not a theoretical. There was no if, it's is. It like literally changed the word if to is, and it's no longer a theoretical question. This is so freaking corrupt. So basically, the jurors are clear about 2 of the charges. They don't know about the third. Oh my gosh. And this is literally what happened in the first trial, that after they came back and it was a mistrial. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And you can't even give her, I know, you can't even give her the benefit of the doubt. The way she's answering the question is, I can't answer this. She's just tell them yes or no. How is that a theoretical question? Yes, and that's exactly what Vinny, Lisa's Vinny was just saying, that they're basically asking, could there be a partial verdict? This is so corrupt. What do they want, a third trial? This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. So instead of saying, if we are clear on 2 of the charges, they just change the word to is. Then that's no longer a theoretical question. Or they just say, they say it as a statement. We are clear on 2 of the charges. We're confused on a third. Does that mean, like, turn it so that it's not a theoretical, definitive? We have reached a verdict on 2 of the charges and not on the third. Is that considered a hung jury? Is no longer theoretical. They're asking that question because they are literally, that's the situation that it is. It is not a theoretical question. They wouldn't be asking it if they weren't in that situation. This is so ridiculous. Yes, it's a not guilty. And you can tell that the two more, my interpretation of all this is, for the 2 strongest, for the 2 biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so mad. Oh my gosh. And like, look, I don't know if Karen did it or not, okay? What I do know is the prosecution did not prove that she's guilty. They did not prove that she's guilty. So infuriating. Maybe they want a third trial to get a stronger prosecutor. I mean, at what point would you consider this a failure? What's the maximum number you can try someone? 3 times, right? I think? I don't know. Yeah, they want guilty and they're cheating. They are moving the goalpost around. This is cheating. And you know what? Now all of us know right now, if we're ever in a jury and we want to ask a judge a question and the answer we get back is, well, that's a theoretical question, you phrase it as a fact. We are conclusive on 2 of the charges, inconclusive on the third. Is that a hung jury? Double jeopardy, if I'm not mistaken, it's when you can't try someone twice for the same offense. So for example, OJ was found not guilty on first-degree murder. They can't try him again for first-degree murder, but maybe they could go in with second degree. Sarah, this is infuriating. It's infuriating. And this just reminded me, I had posted something about OJ and someone commented and said, OJ was found innocent. No, he wasn't. He was found not guilty. When we're doing this, when we say it's a verdict of not guilty, that doesn't mean that the person is innocent. It's that there wasn't enough evidence, there wasn't enough proof to say that the person is guilty. They could still be guilty. I mean, in OJ's trial, we know they found him not guilty, but we all know he's guilty. He's not innocent. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so, man, I wish I was in Boston right now. I would be screaming in the streets. I would be screaming. I know they said this is a buffer zone and you can't talk too loud. I'd be like, can someone tell the jury they can come back with a partial verdict? It's totally fine. Oh my goodness. Dude, this judge it's clear. It's clear she's biased. And this is only, I started watching on Friday? Clearly she is biased. And I know a lot of people were saying that she was biased during the proceedings. I did not see any of that, but just this decision, which literally impacts how the jury is going to come back, is an incredibly biased decision. By the way, because I'm speaking loudly, is my voice being muffled? Because I am incredibly angry. I know some people still think he's innocent. Yeah, blatantly guilty. There's no limit on the number of number of times you can bring charges. At what point would the citizens of that town be like, stop wasting our tax dollars? You guys clearly don't have a case. Go. I know, Margaret, I know. See, a lot of people on Revealing the Narc, they're like, you have such a calm voice and blah, blah, blah. But when I get heated, I get heated. And injustice is infuriating. This is injustice. This is clearly the wrong decision. Oh my gosh. Yes, I think it was the same judge. And that's just it. They keep, how is she spending all this money? I mean, at some point, I would just replay the second trial. Like if I was tried again, I'd be like, here, watch this tape. The sound is authentic. Okay, good. Sarah says, I don't think they actually let the same thing happen, though. It's still early and judge cannot let the same thing happen again. Love Angry Reds, Cults and Cake says. Lisa says, if I were on the jury, I would enter not guilty, then attach an opinion to it. Has that been done before? I don't know if you can do that. I don't know. Cults and Cake is saying, how on earth do they have the same judge? She should have recused herself. And like Lisa was saying earlier, this is the same judge who presided over the DUI murder case of Brian Albert's brother. Sarah says, just because this is one answer to a question doesn't mean it will happen this way. It's misleading the jury. It's basic to me, what it looks like they're doing is they're telling them, you have to be unanimous on all 3 charges or it's a hung jury. That's the question. Oh my gosh. Teaspoon says, in cases of a hung jury where the jury cannot reach a unanimous verdict, a defendant can be retried as many times as the prosecution chooses, as double jeopardy doesn't apply. Yes, because they have not been found guilty of any charge. Yes, it's very misleading. And that's why Alan Jackson was saying, just add this statement at the end, at this time. Just say at this time. Because the implication of that is in the future that it could be different. In the future, I could answer this question, right? Oh my God. I mean, if I was in that jury room and the judge came back and said, this is a theoretical question, I would respond with a conclusive, not a theoretical question. We have reached a decision on two. We don't know what we're doing on the third. Is that a hung jury? It's no longer theoretical. It is the actual situation that we are in right now. It's ridiculous. And clearly the first jury had reached a very similar conclusion. Lisa says it was Bev's oh, I'm sorry. So the judge's brother represented Brian's brother. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, ridiculous. It must be hell in that jury room, Colton Cake says. This is so this is injustice. This is what injustice looks like. Some people in the crime or the court TV chat are saying Judge Bev really needs to be examined. Someone else says my hope has gone. Judge Bev has incinerated it. Ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Okay, Sarah says, yes, they may ask another question that will answer it. Hopefully, too much the jury has to come up with on their own. Yeah, just frame the question because the judge is saying this came as a theoretical question. I can't answer it. So frame it as a conclusive, this is the situation. Colton Cake says, oh, so Bev actually has personal connections to the trial. It seems that way. Steve says the most misleading thing was the judge's instructions to the jury. Yeah, that went on forever. Thank you, Cindy. Agatha says at least OJ got his at the end anyways. Yeah, they found him guilty in civil court. And eventually he got tried for something else. I mean, if I was one of the citizens of this town and 2 times it came back as a mistrial and then you find out later, and I'm making an assumption that this is what the case is, that 2 of the charges they were clear on and not clear on the third, that it could have ended the trial, I'd be like, stop wasting my tax dollars on this. Stop spending 33 days in court, paying the jury X amount of dollars, paying the judge could be trying a different case. The prosecution could be trying a different case. Stop paying for food for 35 days for the jury. It costs money. This costs money. It's tax dollars. Stop trying it. Clearly, the case is not strong if twice the same result has been reached. AI Digital Marketing says you cannot have a mistrial on lesser included offenses if the offenses are not in the indictment. I'm not sure what that means. AI Digital Marketing. I think the blood has gone to my brain and it's like my brain is overloaded with fury. Yeah, Colton Cake says I'd be protesting in the street about the corrupt judge and police. This is showing corruption. This is only showing that this is weird. This is suspicious. Such a stitch up, Sarah says. Lisa says, when you're in the jury room, a lot of what ifs come up. They are trying to deliver a verdict, a just verdict. They need to say, we don't want her to go to jail. How do you do that? Yeah. AI Digital Marketing says the judge is responsible for guiding the jury on facts in law. Yeah. Steve says the judge was accused of signaling the prosecution. Can you explain what you mean by that, Steve? I didn't know about that. Someone wrote in the court TV comments, why even entertain the second charge if they find her not guilty on second-degree murder? If there was no collision, then the rest does not matter. To me, it eliminates the other charges. I mean, I don't agree with that because if she's not guilty of killing him, that doesn't mean that she wasn't driving drunk. AI Digital Marketing says, I hope the jury says, well, if we don't know the consequences, we should just say not guilty. Yeah. In fact, this might push them in that direction, right? That they don't want to get another mistrial. Lisa says you can throw out a lesser included as a juror. It doesn't apply to this case. Maybe she was drunk, but it doesn't apply to this case. Okay, my heart rate got back to normal, guys, I think. This is unbelievable. I mean, Alan Jackson was like red in the face. He was so mad. Yeah. Colton Cake says, that's what I said earlier. If anything, it would make me say not guilty to all. Steve says it was on a video showing her signaling the jury when they analyzed the jury, meaning telling them who to pick for the jury. I know. Take deep breaths. Bring that heart rate down. What is that saying? Not my circus, not my monkeys. I love that saying. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But and I'm saying that as a joke. This is something that, any one of us could be in this type of situation, and to answer that way to such a critical question. Yeah. Colton Cake said she said Jackson told her to ignore the question. That's a lie. Yeah, because I mean, and honestly, think about it. And now she went on record saying that. I'm glad he stood up and said that's not what I said. Wow. And she said that earlier too, that the defense said, yeah, no, sorry, not jury, prosecution. So during the prosecution, the judge was signaling to the jury or the prosecution. Sorry, Steve, I'm so confused. Sorry. Lisa says Judge Bev had been transferred to another court position, but they brought her back. Of course they did. Yeah. Colton Cake says, and then swiftly dismissed everyone as he was saying that wasn't true. Yeah, like I wish she let him speak. What did he say? But that's just it. She doesn't want it on court record what he actually said. That's why they keep having these sidebars, right? Do the sidebars end up in court records? Wow, ridiculous. And I feel like what they are asking is to get clarity on the law. He said that's not true, Your Honor. Yeah. Steve says I was listening and someone said jury and I typed it. She was supposedly signaling the prosecution. Okay, she was signaling the prosecution. Do you know what she was signaling then? Ridiculous. The chairs were clinking. Is that so? I think I turned my audio down of court TV, so I'm not sure because I don't hear anything, but I don't know if it's because I did turn the volume down. Oh my goodness. AI digital marketing says the prosecutor says objection without giving a reason. Then the judge says sustained or answer the question. This alerts the witness if they should answer the question or lie. Okay, let me read that one more time. The prosecutor says objection without giving a reason. Then the judge says sustained or answer the question. This alerts the witness if they should answer the question or lie to the question. So that means the witnesses would have been prompted if there is this type of signaling happening. If it is some form of communication. Lisa says sidebars go on the record. Sarah says such BS. The question is only about the verdict form and how to fill it out. Yes, she can answer that. Just say you can have a partial verdict. Yes. Yes. And this is exactly why the defense was saying, can we have an updated verdict form? Yeah. Steve says, not sure. It was a YouTube video on Monday night. I haven't seen it, Steve, so I don't know. Digital marketing says the judge was doing ex parte communications with prosecutor during trial using hand signals. That is illegal. What? I need to look into this. Sarah says many trials, there's no speaking objections. That is very common. So of the three charges, which one do you think it's the most serious charge that they don't know if it's guilty or not guilty? No, that doesn't make sense because if they think she's not guilty of driving under the influence, it's less likely they think she hit him under the influence. I don't know. The witness had been coached, digital marketing says. Someone in the comments are, can you give us something else to look at other than the fan? Where's the court TV people? Where did they go? Are they on a break? Release steam. I did. And I feel like my heart rate is back to normal. Okay, 3 charges, Lisa says. Murder 1, murder 2, and manslaughter. Are those the charges against her? Oh my goodness. Yeah, people in the court TV chat think that they're stuck on the OUI charge. Colton Cake says all the witnesses for the prosecution were sketchy, except the second friend that was there when he was found and the mom. So Carrie, I think, was the other friend and the mom. So what time is it over there right now? It's 2 p.m. 2:07 p.m. So they have another hour and 53 minutes for today. I mean, if you get an answer back like that, this is hypothetical, do you pretty much say, okay, well, we're hung then, so we're ready to deliver our verdict and it's a hung jury? Ridiculous. I mean, it's an outrage. If that happens, if the same thing happens as the first trial and the judge had every opportunity to fix it with the way she answered this question, it's unbelievable. Teaspoon says, I need a nap, but trying to hang in there in case there's a verdict. I know, Teaspoon, just another hour and 53 minutes. Hour and 52 now. Oh, man. I'm monitoring the chat on Court TV to see what they're saying. AI digital marketing says, I've been to a lot of court trials. I've seen a lot of tricks. I caught all of theirs here. I never I have never been to a trial where no reason is given for a trial objection. So if it was the prosecution that kept saying objection without a reason, that means it would be a cross-examination of a prosecution witness then by the defense, or it could be the defense's um, own witness. Someone in the chat just said to me, this second trial on second degree murder and leaving the scene is double jeopardy. But who am I to give my opinion? I mean, I don't agree with that because formally the jury didn't come back with that verdict in the first trial. It was just afterwards they said that. Yeah, and so Sherry M responded, I don't think that is on record. That's why they did this second trial. AI Digital Marketing said last night said not guilty on murder, but maybe guilty on OUI. Is last night a person or is last night what you thought was going to happen? I felt on Friday, you guys, after those closing arguments, I was like, this is obvious. The prosecution did not prove their case, not guilty. Like I was very confident about that. And now with what's happening here, I don't know. It's making me not so confident. All right. 211 over there. Where did Court TV go? Where is Court TV? Why are they not talking? They're on a break too. Tell us what Vinny's saying. Tell us what's happening outside. Sorry, guys, that I'm going quiet. Just not sure what to say. It's just Court TV is on. How come it's not on for me? I'm on Court. Is Court TV on for other people? All I see is the fan. They're probably freaking out about the corrupt judge, Colton Cake says. They were angry. You could tell they were angry. Vinny was angry too. Yeah, I just have the fan on also. Teaspoon too. Yeah, all I see is the fan. A lot of people in the chat are like, I can't believe this is happening again. Someone is saying this is really disturbing. Someone said, and I don't know if this is possible, defense needs to raise an emergency motion to SJC, which I'm assuming is Supreme, I don't know, to have Bev removed. They would stop deliberations where they are. I mean, maybe that's what's happening. 1344 and counting, Lisa says. Yeah, this is incredibly disturbing. The judge's response is frightening. And I remember earlier in the chat, someone was saying that the judge kept saying, I can't answer that question. Teaspoon says Law and Crime also has the fan. Colton Cake says, if I were the courtroom janitor, I'd put a funny sticker on the fan each day. Oh my gosh, with a yellow Post-it note with a smiley face. AI Digital Marketing says prosecutor cannot continue to say objection, objection, objection after objection because the defense doesn't know how to overcome it because no reason for the objection is given. Lisa says, I agree. They need to have another judge. Who did they just show? Oh, okay. My audio is pretty much off. They're showing the garden hose murder. Does everyone see that too? Man, it's unbelievable. Okay, Teaspoon, you see it too. Yep, and it says we'll be right back. Yeah, they went for a long break. Court TV did. You know, they were all worked up and they're like, we need a break. Yeah, they do. Lisa, I know I highlighted this already, but they need another judge to intervene. And I feel like Alan Jackson, if it's something possible to do, he might be on the phone trying to do that now. Man, what a day, right, everybody? So how are you all feeling now? Are you thinking the jury is leaning towards not guilty, at least on the murder charge? I know, Colton Cake, which one are we watching next? I think what I'll do next is the Brian Koberger stuff. And the reason I say that is because at least if I'm using the East Idaho News, I can at least show the video here on our live stream and we won't need two devices. Cindy says, I thought you always had to state what your objection was. I thought so too. And this is what AI Digital Marketing is saying. The prosecutor is supposed to say, for example, objection, hearsay. The defense knows how to meet the objection. To like phrase the question in a different way. Teaspoon says, I think on murder 1 and 2, not guilty, and last one hung. That's what I think too, if they think they can come with a partial verdict like that. But seriously, if this is another mistrial, the next time it was time to vote, you can vote for the district attorney, right? I would vote against whoever is in charge here. I would not vote for that person. Because at some point it's like, dude, take that money and put it in education for the town. We don't need another trial. Clearly, the prosecution case is not strong, even on murder, too. Colton Cake says if the objection grounds aren't stated, the judge should ask on what grounds before deciding to overrule or sustain. Agatha, I don't have the fan. I have the court TV like screensaver thing. AI Digital Marketing says another reason for giving reason for an objection is for appeal. The reason for the objection will be in the transcript so the appellate court can review it for error. Yeah. Margaret says there has to be somewhere Alan Jackson can go to put in an official complaint and serious not to be able to. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. And if she's found guilty, I think this would be one of the things to appeal on, that the jury didn't know exactly, they were confused or they didn't know that they could go, three different ways. Oh, there's breaking news. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go on mute. If you enjoy this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is here on the screen if you need to reach out to them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description. Every little bit helps and it means a lot. If this video was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. I want to thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.